And now on to something I talked about this on Wednesday, and so I'm not going to go into it in great detail. But on Wednesday nights, I do a show called The Hang Up on a different network. It's not an ACA show, and I'm not here to advertise it. I just don't want any confusion between what I do here with the ACA and what I do on my own. The Hang Up being considerably more political and a personal, I don't know, effort of love and fun by me. But on Wednesday's episode, I talked about the fact that a friendly acquaintance of mine who I respect greatly and who significantly impacted my life and the lives of many, who most of you know as the amazing Randi, died at 92. And there's a graphic up on the screen right now, including one of his famous quotes of "I'm a liar, a cheat, and a charlatan, but at least I know it." There was a grand documentary about him called An Honest Liar. This is my copy of it. And of course, I'm holding it in a way where the light reflects on it. There you go. This one was actually given to me by Randi personally, which is why I haven't taken it out of plastic. I have, in fact, watched the documentary. I've watched it several times. And I've pointed out that I wish that there were 3 documentaries of the amazing Randi. One of him as a magician, one of him as a skeptic, and then one of him as a human. And that video touches on all 3 of them, but loosely. 92 years of an amazing life, just promoting reason and skepticism, being good-natured about it, pointing out that while we can engage in testing of things and attempting to confirm things, that skepticism is not about debunking, even if that happens on occasion, because sometimes people come forward with a claim that is unfalsifiable, which means there's no way that you could show that it was false. And in other cases, they come forward claiming they can do things in a way where you may be able to demonstrate that they can't, or at least demonstrate that on this day, in this way, they were unable to produce the effect that they think they have, whether it's remote viewing or faith healing or clairvoyance and psychokinesis. He famously would chug an entire bottle of homeopathic sleeping pills on stage in order to point out that homeopathy is water and that any claim that it does anything is clearly bullshit, as is evidenced by, chugging an entire bottle of sleeping medicine at the beginning of a lecture and then giving the entire lecture and not needing to go to the hospital. I was fortunate enough to do an event with him in Vancouver, where we sat down on stage. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. We sat down on stage and talked for a little bit, and then Randi did a magic trick or 2, and then took a seat in the audience as myself and Sean Farquhar, the 2-time world champion of magic. I'm required by law to say that every time I mention his name. Hi, Sean. Love you. But myself and Sean and Mary Hatfield, who's a brilliant magician from Canada, who I also adore. We did a show, and we did it for the audience, but when you have the amazing Randi sitting on stage before the show and then out in the audience during the show, like I remember being on stage and getting volunteers and doing stuff, and the only thing I cared about was looking at one seat in the audience and seeing whether or not he was smiling, whether or not he was nodding, whether or not he had because the approval of him while I'm on stage doing magic, it was one of the highlights of my life. I will miss him dearly. And I wasn't even a good friend with him. I mean, I feel especially sorry for his husband and for, Penn and Teller, who, I mean, there wouldn't be a Penn and Teller without Randi. He's done a lot for the world, and I'm sorry, and I'll miss him. And I don't mean to go on for hours, but yeah, my world is a little dimmer, but that's okay because he made it so much brighter before he left. That I'm still much, much better off. So,
actually watched his TED Talk last night, the one where he chugged the sleeping pills and talked about the research lab that was tricked by a classic magician's trick using a matchbook. So,
yep. And then there's Project Alpha. Just go watch the documentary and everything else. I am happy that I knew him. I miss him terribly, and the world is better off for his existence and worse that he's not here.